Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment of our show brought to you by Stern Agee. And since 1901, Stern Agee has been helping Americans from coast to coast prepare and protect their financial futures. They've done so by listening to you. That's the key. They figure out what you want, how you can protect your future, and how you can set up your goals, your financial goals for the upcoming years. And they work to create a program just for you. It's not some one-size-fits-all thing. It's not a deal where you're going to call and speak to 8,000 people in another country. Call Stern Agee. You'll talk to folks right here in East Tennessee. Give them a shout this week, Stern Agee. All right, back with Mike Strange, Mark Pancratz, Houston Fancher, Jimmy Himes. Going to let you two, the ex-coaches here, give us a scouting report. We're going to do this each week. We'll let you flip-flop. Somebody's going to be Donnie Tyndall every other week. This week, you're Mike Anderson. You may have the easier road. Houston, what is Mike Anderson telling you? What does he need to do what does he need to get out of his Arkansas team this week against Tennessee on Tuesday night?
Well, I think they'll continue to do what they're doing up until this point, and that's create havoc. And they talk about their 40 minutes of hell, which they will bring to Thompson Bowling Arena on Tuesday night. I think you're going to see an intense press that we haven't seen so far this season. They're in the top 23, top 25 in steals per game. They average eight steals a game. They force teams into unbelievable turnover amounts. Their first two SEC games, they forced 40 turnovers already in their first two SEC games, which they do turn around and turn into points. Right now they're averaging 83 points a game, 18 assists a game. It's going to be a very up-tempo type basketball. Tennessee has a Arkansas starter kit right now. Arkansas is a grown Tennessee. That's what the Tennessee wants to become, a combination of Alabama and Arkansas right now. And I think they'll make life miserable for Josh Richardson. They're going to make someone else bring the basketball up the floor. They're going to keep the ball out of his hands. They're going to double team him as soon as he catches it. And they're going to do a great job of feeding Bobby Portis, who's probably the best post player, maybe one of the best pro prospects in the SEC.
All right, Mark, you got the role of Donnie Tyndall. You're the one without a true point guard going up against the 40 minutes of hell. What do you do?
Well, I think you have to attack their pressure. You know, the saying is, you know, you score early or score late, and that means you attack the pressure. If you can get an easy one, if not, you pull it out, run your offense, and then you attack the rim. So you got to be able to handle the basketball. Other guys are going to be able, because they are going to pressure, they're going to have to handle it for you. And then you're going to have to be able to rotate on defensively. Coach mentioned they average 18 assists a game. That leads, that's a third in the country. So you're going to have to be able to rotate, know your assignments, know where you're supposed to be. Then you're going to have to rebound, because Portis, not only can he score like he had 32 last night, he had 9 offensive rebounds. They're a great offensive rebounding team, so we got to be able to rebound the basketball. And then offensively, we got to punch gaps. And by that, you got to dribble it, get paint touches, and then get those inside outs for easy opportunities to score, whether from three-point line or inside.
All right. Mike Strange and Jim, well, I'll start with Jimmy and I'll come to Mike. Thoughts on attendance on a Tuesday night against Arkansas? You had a pretty decent crowd yesterday. Mm-hmm. What do you expect, though, after that crowd saw Tennessee go so many minutes without scoring? What do you think crowd-wise Tuesday?
A whole lot of those fans left with 5 minutes left. I'm not sure how many are coming back. My guess is if you were to peg me on what they announced versus actual, that's going to be a different number. My guess is it'll be about 12,000 actual attendance.
Which, considering, Mike, most schools would jump up and down to get 12,000. Unfortunately, in Thompson Bowling Arena, that looks like an empty barn, but that's not a bad attendance. I mean, to date, I think the fan base has shown up a little bit better than I expected, considering what this team is and what the situation with the coaches.
It is, and if you put it in perspective around the country, even around the league, I was watching Missouri play at home this week, and they've had a good tradition there. They had a terrible crowd at Missouri. LSU, they don't have a good crowd, so I would say Tennessee is still going to have one of the better crowds in the SEC.
That's one of those where you go back and you look at the Buzz Peterson years, and the attendance was now 14, 15, and that's the paid attendance. But even then, when you'd walk into Thompson Bowling Arena and they had the curtains up and it just seemed drab, they're still one of the top 10 schools in the country in terms of attendance. So a tip of the cap to loyal basketball fans out there, Tennessee fans who are still supporting this team. It certainly is going to be one where the team needs the crowd night after night. And Donnie Tyndall is certainly asking for that help. I mean, he's made no bones about the fact he needs people in there helping this squad.
He's probably regretting that decision after yesterday's game, having everybody in there to watch it.
Yeah, he handed them all blindfolds for that 14 minutes in the second half. All right, when we come back, Tennessee has Arkansas. Tennessee has Missouri this week on the road. Missouri's basically the worst team so far in the SEC, at least the only team with a losing record, I believe, at this point. When we come back, we'll discuss how Tennessee will do in those two games. Come back on the Sports Source.
Like our set? Turn to Benedict Construction.